Grand National Michigan sophomore Johnny Benson has used 2 wins and 10 straight top 10 finishes to build a 108-point Busch Series lead. Giving chase, 4-time winner in '95 from the Northwest, Chad Little. He's closed on Benson with the help of 2 narrow escapes, first in Charlotte, then again in Dover last week. Today, they'll need more than luck to hold off a hungry pack.
When push comes to shove, this GM Goodrich Service Chevrolet is going to the front.
This is the midway point, and I'm coming through. At Myrtle Beach, it's lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Today on TNN, slam, bam, action on one of America's fastest half miles. South Carolina's Myrtle Beach is next. O'clock Eastern at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Temperature about 95 degrees. Race number 13 of the 1995 Grand National season. 6 Fords and 6 Chevrolets have found their way to victory lane thus far this season. So do you call it a rubber match or just midway on the campaign? Whatever you're going to call it, you're going to call it hot competition on a half mile for 250 laps. Hello, everyone. Ken Squire, and welcome aboard for our flag-to-flag coverage this afternoon. One of the major stories, the man everybody's talking about, Chad Little. He's way in the back, 29th position for this race. The car that dominated at Hickory, North Carolina, missed the qualifying setup, thinks he's got it back. What kind of a show today?
Well, you know, I can't give away a lot of secrets, but you're going to see one heck of a race today.
He's just one of the stories coming from the rear of the field. Another major story, a couple of them are up in front. The man on the pole, a surprise, and tires are a big issue today. Let's go to Steve Burns for that.
Ken, all race fans recognize this car. It's the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet. Now, this one is owned by Dale Earnhardt, sitting inside Jeff Green, the pole sitter. He told reporters after qualifying yesterday, he said, hey, Dale Earnhardt's going to teach me to race, but I'm going to teach him how to qualify. Jeff, what do you got today?
I don't know. We just got an awful good car, I tell you. Tony and these guys put me in a car every week that could sit on the pole and win the race. And we're just learning. I'm learning, and hopefully they'll be patient with me here. And I'm going to be patient today and try to be smooth and try to keep my tires till the end. And hopefully we'll have the best tires at the end. I think we can win this thing. I really feel like the guys with the best tires are going to win this race. So hopefully that'll be us. But if not, we'll go to next week.
Best of luck, Jeff. Now, Jeff mentioned trying to keep the tires underneath them. That's a big story here. This is a very abrasive track, and crews and drivers are worried about tire wear. In the NASCAR drivers meeting just a while ago, NASCAR director Ray Hill said you have 3 sets of tires in addition to the ones on this car. Any more than that, and you're walking. So tires are a problem. Now, let's go back down to Ken Squire.
Well, thank you, Steve. What a story here. 200th career start for 2-time Grand National champion Larry Pearson. How is the arm as you get ready to go?
Well, Ken, it's a little sore here on the short track. The tires seem to be a problem this week. They're wearing out pretty fast, and you're constantly having to fight the wheel, and that's putting a little pressure on it, so it's a little sore. But other than that, I think we'll be all right.
Good luck to you today with this Stanley Tool car. Now, the guy who's going to be upstairs with me shortly to cover the race today is a relative. Now, how are you going to be unbiased? 3-time Winston Cup champion David Pearson with Larry right in the middle of this thing making his 200th start.
Well, I don't guess really I could do that. You know, I'm going to have to pull for him a little bit. You know, I got other sons on the other, the 59 car. I got 2 over there, but yeah, I'm going to have to pull for this car, and I hope the 59 runs second. But you know, like I said, they do have a lot of tire wear today, but I think later on in the race, everything's going to work out fine.
All right, we'll see. Stay with us for coverage of this 250-lap Grand National race from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250 on TNN is brought to you by Avalon Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star. And by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
Back with you on the half mile at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Always a great race here. This is the 8th annual, and we're ready to take a look at the starting grid for today. Up in the front row, Jeff Green is there. Second career pole for the Earnhardt driver, Jason Keller, currently third in points alongside, then Elton Sawyer, and from Vermont, Kevin LePage, his best qualifying spot. David Green is on the inside of row 3 with Tommy Houston, the all-time Busch Series money winner. Row 4 is Tracy Leslie, and John Rumley is there. In row 5, Mike Dillon and Jerry Nadeau from up in Connecticut. Going to row 6, Doug Heveron, who's just bound to win soon, and Johnny Benson Jr., currently number 1 in points. In row 7, Dirk Stevens from the state of Washington, and Mike McLaughlin. In row 8 is Randy Porter and Robbie Reiser. Row 9 is Dennis Setzer and Scott Kilby. For row 10 today, Jeff Fuller and Danny Edwards Jr., Virginia driver, making his Busch debut. Larry Pearson back on the inside of row 11 with Tim Fedowa, the winner up there at Nazareth. Johnny Chapman and Curtis Markham, second in the rookie points. In row 13, it's Hermie Sadler, the runner-up at Hickory, and Phil Parsons. Row 14 today, Darrell Sage and Rodney Combs. For row 15, the 4-time winner in 95, Chad Little, and with him comes Bobby Dotter from Chicago. Row 16 is Ed Barrier and Patty Moise. Going to the provisional starters, there you have Jim Bound and Joe Bessie. Here are the cars that drivers that did not make it: Buckshot Jones, Mark Madison, Jimmy Mann, Johnny Linville, Chris Diamond, not qualifying. Preliminary laps being run off right now before we settle down, get ourselves into some racing. Here's the AutoZone race analysis, brought to you by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. There you see the number of starters, the race distance, 134.5 miles today, and the record belongs to Chuck Bound back in '91. Pit road speed 25 miles per hour. And the Elton Sawyer onboard camera will give you these kind of views of the race today. He's got a 360 camera in there. He has a roof cam on board. And here's the puppy dog look out the side, and a rear window cam as well from Elton Sawyer's Ford credit card. Then the Duraloop car of Dirk Stevens will give you these views. He's got a 360 camera on board. And there's the dog looking over there at car 17 riser and out the rear window. As we mentioned at the outset, 6 and 6, 6 Fords, 6 Chevys have won this season. No race has been won from the pole in '95. Last win from that position, Mark Martin back in Darlington, March of '94. 3 of the top 4 starters coming to the line right now have never won a Busch race. Green, Keller, LePage coming down to the line, and we're underway. Boy, Jeff Green, he jumped out there real quick.
He did.
Got himself about a 3-car length hop off that flag. Gets cut back to about 2 as they complete lap number 1. On board with Elton Sawyer. Taking a look back at the teddy bear, up to 3rd spot, Kevin LePage, his best starting position, and he grabs a spot to go into 3rd. As they come down, Elton Sawyer holds on to 4th. They're 3 wide, well back in the field as they sort themselves out. Fedowa getting the inside and picking up a spot or 2. And Chad Little right down on the bottom. Look at him working on Sadler, DeWalt car. 70 pops up on the outside. Johnny Chapman trying to move around. Boy, Little is flying. Here he comes after Dotter. Jim Bound right there just up in front of Little. Down on the bottom and hanging tough. Using the bottom and then some. Here's the 61 about to get hauled in. Danny Edwards Jr. as Chad Little makes this drive from the rear.
Chad just run right down on that apron. You know, anytime you get a car can go down that apron like that, he is handling good.
Let's see what he does here in that main straightaway. Sadler is able to get around a faster line on the outside. Again, the 23 car of Chad Little ducks to the inside. There you see the 99, Phil Parsons. Whoop, a little loose coming off. Edwards moving in on him. And for the moment, Little is in the box. Up the outside comes Sadler.
his car must be a little bit tight, because anytime you're tight, if you can go down on that apron, that'll get loosened up just a little bit, then you can come off better. But he undoubtedly must be just a little bit tight right now.
25th position. Now, what's this tire thing going to do today? 3 sets of tires.
Well, you know, you talk to the guys, and every one of them knows that you have to kind of take it easy to start with anyway. But you watch them race out there, there's not any of them taking it easy. They're all running, trying to get up front as fast as they can. And then when the tires do go away, which I understand they don't last about 10 laps, then they start slowing up. But all of them are trying to get up front to get the position as quick as they can.
You're always pretty good on tires. Very abrasive track out here. Got to be really careful on this one. Back up front, take a look at Jeff Green pulling away.
Well, they don't have any traffic. You know, he's just right now, everybody else is fighting it back and forth each other, and he is running right there on the bottom. He is handling real good.
Got his car spinning in turn number 2. First one down, I think that might be Johnny Chapman. It is Chapman. And no flag out.
But he didn't hit anything.
No,
he just spun around and just took off back.
He had himself out there in the middle of the track pretty well for a moment. Was able to fire it and get it rolling again.
But I believe he is going to go a lap down here. 3 is to get him.
Jeff Green working on that around the outside. He was just spun it, laid it sideways out of 2.
Did you notice the safety car when it went down on the apron there, how loose he got? So he's definitely loose. Of course, that's the reason he spun out. I guess it just looked too loose.
Certainly not the situation with Chad Little. You see working the bottom of that thing hard. Second spot remains Elton Sawyer's Ford Chevrolet out in front, and number 17 pulls on the pit road. Robbie Reiser early onto the pit road, and let's see if he's going to bring her on back out. From Elton Sawyer's viewpoint, there's the interval between first and second. Kevin LePage back in third, Jason Keller fourth, Tracy Leslie in fifth, Tommy Houston sixth. Like the 44 car. Remember, he's driving with a broken shoulder. David Green out there. And Steve can give us an update on him.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity down here in David Green's pits. This broken scapula isn't his only problem. They think he has a plug wire that has come off. He started 5th and he's gone backwards. A lot of activity down here.
He's led so many laps. So many things have worked for him. He's won a race this year over at Nashville, but it's not coming together for him. The season, a disaster thus far, broken shoulder. Meanwhile, his brother stays first with Elton Sawyer second and LePage third.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250 on TNN is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
There's your leader with 18 laps complete. It's Jeff Green out in front. Larry Pearson has come from 21st up into 17th and up to 18th from 29th has moved Chad Little. Patty Moise being put a lap down by Green. Remember, she was on the tail end of the starting field. Top 5 all bunched just behind that leader. There you see the 3 car, and directly behind him last year's winner of this event. Chevrolet has never won a Busch Grand National race here at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That's Busch Grand National. They've sure won a lot of late model sportsman races here. In 7 previous races, Ford has traipsed into victory lane 3 times, Olds twice, Buick once, Pontiac once. Great mix up in front. Jeff Green, Chevy in front, Ford in second, Chevy in third with LePage. And you're looking back at Kevin LePage getting way around Patty Moise in this tight run behind the leader. It's still Elton Sawyer there. Kevin LePage with a teddy bear car trying to come down the inside.
You know, Ken, Jeff Green said that Earnhardt was going to learn him how to drive, so it looks like he's driving just like Earnhardt, flat out.
Take a look here.
He's not taking care of the tires, that's for sure.
That's for sure. 4 cars battling further back, and already up to 17th around Larry Pearson comes Chad Little in the 23. Chad Little has picked up 17th, closes on Setzer. Look at this battle in second place. Down to the inside, Kevin LePage. Shelburne, Vermont, 3-time winner of Vermont's biggest stock car race, the Milk Bowl. Green Mountain Boy up in there. One of those damn Yankees again, David. I knew you'd be pleased about that.
Oh.
There's Tracy Leslie down on the inside, whipping that car through another spot. And look at Chad Little coming up as he comes after Dennis Setzer. Just in front of Setzer is that Randy Porter car. Randy looking good today.
You know, Chad said he was going to go to the front as quick as he could. Then after he got in front, then he was going to start taking care of his tires if he could get there. So, but he's definitely going to get there. He seemed like he could pass on the inside or outside.
You know, we saw him down low earlier. Now here he is up around Setzer making that move.
Well, he got boxed in there by the 18 car. He couldn't go on.
Putting a lap on Moise for the first time and making him 3 wide out of 2. Whoops. Straighten that out a little. Back dives Larry Pearson. That wrist that he smashed up at Nazareth, hampering him some in his 200th start. Twice Grand National champion, driving that Stanley car and looking strong as the bear number 23. Chad Little continues to rifle through the field. Tracy Leslie, number 72, moving on up.
Chad Little just don't like to run back there in the back. You know, he has led over 3 times as many laps as second place Busch car, which is David Green. David Green's led, I think, about 200, and Chad has led about 6 or something. I was looking at the Busch record book, and that's where I got this from.
Wow. Kind of a Junior Johnson kind of driver. Put it right up.
Chad led 671 laps, and David Green was 200. He was the second as far as the Busch goes. Busch driver.
Closing in to put a lap on Joe Bessie out of Scarborough, Maine, is your leader, Jeff Green, and the interval is 3 2/10 seconds between first and second place, which is now Jeff Green, and Kevin LePage is in second. Check the front of the field here. Here's that 59 car, and Chad Little moves up into 12th now. Just behind them is Dennis Setzer, followed by the 92. There you see them, 12th, 13th, 14th. Pearson back there in the 14th position. Looks like Porter in 15th. Porter back to 15th. I'll give you a few more as they come by us here. 13th and 14th, the 59 to the 92.
You know, Ken, there's three cars up there with V6 engines, and Randy Porter's one of them, an 08 in the 15 car, and also the 08 of Bobby Dodders. Those 3 cars are running V6s, and the rest of them running V8s.
3 V6s out here today. McLaughlin comes up to 16th, and the rookie Curtis Markham is in 17th. We'll have more for the Carolina Pride 250 in a moment.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250 on TNN is brought to you by Split Fire, the patented performance spark plug. It only costs more till you use it.
37 laps now complete for Jeff Green out in front. To date, not a caution on this race. Green continuing to draw away from the field. Looks like he's ready to lap Sadler in just a matter of moments, as well as the number 70, the white car of Johnny Chapman, going down a lap here.
You know, Ken, they said the tires give up, but we just checked the number 3 car, and he still run 21:35. So that's still good speed, as hot as it is, and especially this many laps that they have run. So they run 38 laps.
And that's exactly where he started. He was around that 21-second mark.
Right. So he hasn't slowed up that much.
Take a look a little further back here. You see the 72 moving in on number 71, and sliding back a bit is Kevin LePage. Ooh, car number 40 in trouble, slowing down. Moise had trouble out of 2 and picks it back up. Still not a caution on the race. Green is in front. Jason Keller has gone into second. Tommy Houston's having a great day. Hey, let's hope Tommy's back up there toward a checkered flag soon. And then you have Johnny Rumley in 4th, Tracy Leslie a 5th, and Kevin LePage all of a second came back to 6th spot. 7th is Heveron, and now we see LePage falling further back. Doug Heveron climbing up into 6th. Dirk Stevens to 7th, and LePage falls off into 8th position, followed by Johnny Benson and Elton Sawyer. Sawyer back in 10th. And Chad Little continuing to charge through the field from 29th position. It's all happening here live on TNN today. And we've got one car on the wall.
Number 12.
Yep, Mike Dillon. Mike Dillon has brought out the first caution of the afternoon, and this comes at lap 41. First caution, lap 41.
I noticed he and Joe Bessie both was getting a little bit loose, so. But there's only 2 cars that I seen that was getting loose.
So pace car is picking up the field. We're under caution for the first time. It's a day for hot dogs here at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Back with you at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for this 250-lap Grand National race with 44 laps complete. A reminder, the ARCA race from Pocono, Pennsylvania is now going to be held on July 13th. Canceled today up there in the 2.5 mile. TNN will carry it. Check local listings for time. They're going to be taping that. Let's go to an AutoZone Tech Fact right here while we have a moment.
Ken, as you said at the top of the broadcast, it is incredibly hot here at Myrtle Beach. Well, that's what you'd expect in the middle of June, right? You saw the German Shepherd in the back of Kevin LePage's truck, maybe the coolest thing here. But what a lot of teams are doing, you don't see this very often, these canopies on pit road. Also, there's plenty of Gatorade. A lot of these crewmen drinking a lot of fluids to stay cool. And this may not be very high tech, but it's effective. A lot of the teams have taken towels, dipped them in ice water, and they're just laying them around their neck. Also, we're going to go down in a second to Chad Little's pits. We understand he may be having a problem.
The AutoZone Tech Fact brought to you by more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Green ready to come out when they come by this time with Jeff Green in front, Jason Keller second, Houston third, Rumley fourth, Doug Heveron up to fifth, Dirk Stevens in sixth, followed by Johnny Benson into seventh, the point leader. Then comes Elton Sawyer, Chad Little moving in, and Dennis Setzer as we come down to take this green flag and get us rolling another time. We're showing Johnny Rumley now in that fourth position. Tracy Leslie fifth, Dirk Stevens sixth, Benson seventh, Elton is eighth, and up to ninth, Chad Little. We saw the Kevin LePage car come in for right side rubber. Take a look at back up front, popping right back in that big lead again. 32-year-old Jeff Green out of Owensboro, Kentucky, as he scoots in front of Jason Keller. What a ride Jason Keller has been giving that car this year.
And David Green's coming back out of the pits, so maybe it don't look like they found his problem, but he is at least coming back out, getting a run.
Slim Jim, number 44, Mosey's back into the backstretch, but not at speed. Meanwhile, here they come thundering into the main straightaway. And you're watching Little. He's there with Hermie Sadler. There's been some stories about the motor on 23 recently. We're trying to confirm them. Down to the inside, Joe Bessie, who's come out of the rear. Steve can update us on the number 23 car, Chad Little.
Ken, the story is he has dropped a cylinder, but they don't want to bring him into pit just yet because they say the lack of horsepower shouldn't hurt him that badly down here. So they're going to keep riding it out and then wait to bring him in with the rest of the leaders.
So there you see Chad Little, who apparently has lost a cylinder trying to fight to stay in there. How long can that go on?
Well, it all depends on what it is. Ken, if he dropped a valve or something, a piece of the valve could get over and get in the piston and bust a piston, and and it really would mess it up. But if it's a rock arm or something like that come off, sometimes they have run for 200 or 300 miles. But he's trying to get some invaluable points right now.
The 20 car, Joe Bessie out of Scarborough, Maine, getting around Elton Sawyer here. Remember, that was a provisional starter in today's race. He is flying at the present time. Joe Bessie in that Fina car. Get a rundown from NASCAR scoring. Get you up to date here as we get past 50 laps of competition. There's Dirk Stevens in 64, just on the outside. Dip and diving there. Johnny Benson just in front of your camera, out of turn 4. Up a little racetrack there, David.
I'm telling you, that Jeff Green, I just can't believe how good that car is handled. He didn't come in and change no tires, and he's still running off and leaving the rest of them. And he has run so far 52 laps. So his car is undoubtedly set up perfect.
The 20 car is flying by everybody at the present time. Bessie, that thing is working. Meanwhile, as you look down through the field, Jeff Green with the advantage, Keller, Houston, Rumley, Heverin. There's that 20 car, and that's Johnny Rumley right there behind him. Unofficially, that'd be for fourth, David.
The 20 car did pit, so Joe Bessie, and he's got on fresh tires, and
So
that's one of the reasons.
that's why he's coming up through.
But I caught him just right before the caution came out, and he was one of the cars that was getting a little bit loose.
From the 38 car, here's Chad Little down on the inside, trying to make a little room there. Little continuing to attack, closing in on Elton Sawyer. You're riding with Elton. He is in the 7th position now, and Chad Little is in 8th. This is for second spot. And you see the 44 really slowing down now. Bad day for David Green. Trying to get it into the grass and get it off the track and let this race keep going as it continues to be his younger brother, Jeff Green, out of Owensboro, Kentucky, leading by that much of a margin over Tommy Houston in the red number 6.
You know, I'm glad to see Tommy Houston run that good too. He has an awful lot of bad luck. He has been racing for years and years, and I don't know. I would like to see Tommy do good, but that 20 car just ducked right under him and go right on course, so he got on the new tires.
20 car just blasting through the field with that change of tires on the last stop. Caution is out. There's a yellow on the track. Second caution of the day. We check on Joe Bessie.
I think it's on account of David Green right at the entry of the pit road is what it is. He couldn't make it on. He couldn't make it onto his pit.
So David Green brings out a caution, second of the afternoon. And it comes on lap number 58. We'll take a break and be back with you in just a moment to continue the action in the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250 on TNN is brought to you by Hanes Underwear, Activewear, and Socks. Just wait till we get our Hanes on you.
Riding with Elton Sawyer right here as we get ready on a restart. Jeff Green in front, Tommy Houston second, Jason Keller third, Rumley fourth, Doug Everin fifth, Benson, Elton, the man you're looking at now, is in 7th. Chad Little is in 8th. Dennis Setzer 9th. Now we're being told that number 20 car had gone down a lap. It has just made it up and is on the tail end of the lead lap. That's Joe Bessie out of Scarborough, Maine, who did that great job back in '93 at Atlanta. Looked like he had it won with just a few laps to go and was in that, led a lot of that race at Atlanta. Seen him in some truck races this year. That's Bessie in number 20, and they're getting the 1 lap marker. The cars on the lead lap are indicated on the inside, I believe here, right? Steve has more for us on David Green.
Ken, let me first update you. All the leaders pitted, and everybody took on 4 tires. Now, as you said, David Green's in here in the garage area, 1994 Busch Series champion. David, tough luck right from the start.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. The car was fine, and it's like you pulled about 4 plug wires off of it, you know, and we rode around there, and it wasn't too awful bad because the track's so bad, but then the last time there, we got a dead cylinder, and last time it just like you shut the key off, so it won't run now at all, so I thought my luck was bad. It's really getting worse, it seems like, but we got a good car, but looks like the day's over.
So you can't get back out?
Well, we're going to try to, you know, but we're already 2 or 3 laps down, so, but we'll hang in there and see what happens.
Tough luck. Thank you, David.
At lap 61, they go back to Green. And Jeff Green, the number 3 car, is off the point. Tommy Houston is back. He made that pit stop and give Tommy Houston the lead. Houston at number 6 for the point. Coming up on the inside and ready to challenge.
17's got it.
Yeah, Robbie Reiser. Reiser digs down on the inside and he shoots through. See the 71 car also making its move. We'll check out those leaders for you and give you that top 10 in just a moment.
Ken, the way Tommy Houston is sliding, of course, I didn't think he pitted, but he looked like he's running on old tires what he's doing right now. He must have got a bad set or put a set on a tire going down or something, but he is really loose, and everybody's going by him.
Closing in on him right now. You see the 57 dive to the inside. Jason Keller going for it.
Three abreast coming up. Three abreast coming over the board there.
Take a look at Jeff Green.
Jeff Green just went right on the bottom and went right on by.
That is putting the carburetor and heart in his mouth on that one, huh? Kevin LePage in the 17 is being shown, or the 71 rather, being shown as the leader as they come by. 71 LePage for first. Coming to the stripe. Mike Dillon showing him as second. Jeff Fuller third. Tommy Houston back to fourth. And that's changing quickly because already we've seen that Jeff Green car dive inside. Take a look at McLaughlin in the 34. Drove that great victory at Dover a week ago. Now there's your top five. It is LePage, Dillon, Fuller, Jason Keller, and Jeff Green is your fifth place car. LePage up in front.
Mike Dillon just passed the 12 car.
Swap them around again up in front. LePage dives back through the field. LePage, last time he led was in New Hampshire in '94. That's the first time this season that Kevin LePage had the Vermont Teddy Bear car up in front. Now there's the guy who could pull it all off before and be another new winner this year. That number 47 car, the #1 rookie in the series standings at the present time. Started his career out up in Westboro Stadium. Jeff Fuller out of Auburn, Massachusetts. Look for big things out of him this year. For the moment, you're seeing the number 12 car in the lead. That's Mike Dillon. That's the son-in-law of Richard Childress. Is he giving that car a good ride?
In that 3 car, he is passing them wherever he catches them, on the inside, outside, or whatever. He is going through them corners.
Taking that Fuller car and putting him a spot back. Jeff Green on a roll. Moving up, trying to collect Jason Keller right now.
He's caught it. He just can't get by him.
Keller up here in second spot. Keller knows how to win here. You have to run steady and consistent on this track.
You really have to pace yourself on the tires. The tire situation here is going to be the story all weekend, I think. And you only get about 10 to 20, maybe 25 really good laps out of the tires, and then the rest is riding, so to speak. So, you know, it's going to be a hard race, but I think we're up for it. The racetrack's really flat, and it's going to be whoever's got the car set up the best. And luck always plays a role in this, so maybe we'll have some really good luck this weekend.
Second place, #1 in the hat category, Jason Keller. But here comes Jeff Green trying to chase him down in a battle for second. Battle for the lead at the present time. Correct that. Jason Keller and Jeff Green continuing to make their own war. Then comes Dillon third, Jeff Fuller in fourth. Front four. Mike McLaughlin is sorting himself out in the 6th spot.
I believe the 3 cars finally settling down a little bit and say, well, we just going to save our tires and find out that the rest of them is probably doing it. That's what that's what he's going to do.
He's been to here before, to Myrtle Beach. Sure knows this track. This is tough. This is a track you ran when it was dirt, David, way back. In fact, you won here in the early days.
But it was, like I say, that's been so long ago, I can't even remember when that was.
Last time that Jason Keller led was in Nashville earlier this season. He's had a couple of good finishes at Hickory and at Dover. And for the moment, Jason Keller has this one under control, but Jeff Green trying to take it away. So the battle is for the lead, and it's Jeff Green versus Jason Keller. Chevy against Chevy here at Myrtle Beach.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250 on TNN is brought to you by Pep Boys Automotive Supercenter.
We're at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and there's the battle. It's for the lead. Jason Keller versus Jeff Green. And they've been at it now for the past 10 laps. And Tommy Houston, who briefly had a chance at first place, 24-time winner in Grand National Racing, now going a lap down. Sad to see. Guy who so much wanted that national championship Came so close back in '91. Moroso beat him out in that last race. Well, there you see it right now. As of lap 84, you've got Keller and Green up in front. See that third place car is the number 47, the Sunoco car. There's McLaughlin. He is now being shown in 5th position. Johnny Rumley coming to 4th. McLaughlin, the winner a week ago, having another very good ride in the Black Flag French's Mustard machine. Let's take a complete look at a Napa field update. This would have been after 70 had been completed. This was at 70. There have been some changes since then, but I'll give you a look back through the field, folks. The big story thus far has been David Green, the defending national champion, in trouble. Lost the cylinder, finally went back behind the wall, and is an early retiree. He's not going to be able to score anything here today. Johnny Rumley is staying 4th. McLaughlin 5th. Elton Sawyer is 6th. We're being told that Mike Dillon is 7th.
Boy, it was close coming off 4 there. The 49 car there of Scott Kelly. He was slammed sideways. You could read the numbers on the right door.
Track's famous for that kind of racing. We watched young Earnhardt, Dale Earnhardt Jr. doing that out here earlier. They had a late model sportsman race. It was a dinger. I guess they have great racing here all the time. Sean Graham was the winner of that. Kevin Prince was 2nd, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. came home 3rd in a race 100-lapper held just before we came on the air. In the standings, we're seeing Doug Heveron reported in 8th.
There's another luck hit in that pit wall coming in.
I think they're going to find some.
They got me on pins and needles. You look at this thing.
Larry Pearson's in 9th, showing Dennis Setzer in 10th, Bobby Donner in 11th. Here's Jason Keller, your leader. Take a look at Doug Heveron in here. Looked like he had that race won at Dover and then exploded the engine just a few laps from the finish. Such a great racer. Came out of the super modified ranks up at Oswego, giving it his best shot today to get another good finish. Doug Heveron in number 35. He's been coming on strong recently and nearly won last week before losing that motor with, they say, 20 official laps to go. And we talked to him about that disappointment of being so close and having to get away.
It really didn't bother me per se as to really bring me down and want to commit suicide or anything. I mean, there's so much light just right at this end of this tunnel where we're going to be there. We're going to win our share of races this year. And, you know, hey, last week wasn't our week, and, you know, next week may be.
Well, next week right now is a good battle. There it is. There's the 47 in slowly. Jeff Fuller, that outstanding rookie from up in New England, coming in at that 25-mile-an-hour speed, and he's going to come in for rubber. That is going to move Doug Heveron up into 7th position. Larry Pearson's going to come to 8th. Dennis Setzer's going to move up to 9th. Take a look at what happened to Fuller here a moment ago. Got way down into the grass, brought it back out. He's back underway. Lost a couple of laps. Back with the leaders. There's Jason Keller, and he's moving away a bit from Jeff Green. Giving that car a good ride today.
I believe Jeff Green's a little bit too tight right now on this set of tires he's got now, because if you watch him when he goes in the corner, he comes all the way down and hits the apron.
There's Doug Heveron, who's still running a great show back in 7th spot. And you see Dennis Setzer's come up in there now and taken a spot away from Larry Pearson. That's Dennis Setzer into 8th, and he has drop kicked Larry Pearson back to 9th. 7th, 8th, 9th, real good scramble. Let's go back up in front. Putting a lap on Hermie Sadler. And about to put a lap on the number 64, Dirk Stevens. Tumwater, Washington. He goes high. And you see the 57 of Jason Keller digging out of turn number 2. Jeff Green waits it right out. 3 sets of tires besides the set they started on, and after then you're on the rims. Can't be swapping, can't be buying, can't be renting.
That's bad, you know, because the guys know if they don't have the tires, they can't race hard. And right now, I really feel like that they are kind of taking it easy and not running too hard through the corners and using up the tires and trying to save it for the, you know, the end of the race.
Car number 20 has a bad tire. We're seeing 47 back on here again. That's Fuller. More in a moment. 101 laps have been completed here at Myrtle Beach. Opryland, USA, the official destination of NASCAR. For more information on Opryland, USA, call 615-889-6611, Monday through Friday. Take a look at your leader here, 25-year-old Jason Keller. In the Budget Gourmet Chevrolet, Joe Keller, the owner, and they lead by that much over car number 3, Jeff Green. Mike McLaughlin has pulled himself up into third. The 47 car, the top rookie. David, I think Steve can give us a little more on that. Steve Burns.
Ken, Jeff Fuller's in here. What a heartbreak. They had a great run going. At first, they thought the right front tire was going flat. They came in. Now you can see they're underneath the car. They think the brake rotor is hung up, and they're trying to knock it off.
Yeah, I think they did have brake problem because they threw one on that and stopped the car themselves. He couldn't stop it.
What do you think of this Keller run? Isn't this just fantastic? Look, he is just rolling them up here, and he's pulling away from Jeff Green at the present time. The Owensboro, Kentucky driver. That's Jeff Green trying to get a little room back, but he's not gaining anything for the moment on that 57. Jason
Keller, he is not saving his tires, or at least he don't feel like he, or don't look like he is anyway. He is running.
Jason Keller, pole here a year ago. He scored 3 poles. Young driver really coming on. And there you see Jeff Green in the 3 as he puts a lap on the Scott Kilby car. Yellow and red, number 49. So, moving toward halfway in this one. And there's the 71 car. Remember, it was in for right side rubber. Started 4th on today's race. And LePage just scoots down on the inside, makes a move under Rodney Combs.
For the boys to be worried about the tires and everything, the way they're running, but you know, you haven't seen that many spin outs or anything, so I'm sure that they're all just taking it easy right now.
David, we're being told that Doug Hebron may be having some problems out there. Transmission fluid, rear end grease perhaps. Black flag in hand for Doug Hebron. They want to bring him in. There you see Fedewa in the 55. Boy, what a racer he's going to be in years to come. Won that race at Nazareth. Patty Moise back in it again. Looking pretty stopped there for the moment.
The 20 car Joe Bassett just come back into the pits.
It's had an on and off again afternoon, and the 25 is also going to take a little added work. Johnny Rumley, 109 laps complete. We haven't updated the Chad Little story in a while. There's Chad.
Still going strong.
Yeah, 7 cylinders, boy. I find that hard. Started 29th, worked his way right up into the top 10. Settled back a little here. He's running 13th at the present time. 13th position for Chad Little.
And you know, if that track gets slicker, it's not going to hurt him as bad as it's hurting him right now.
Johnny Benson, unofficially, we're being told, is back there in 14th, and we'll wait for some confirmation on that in the Bill Baumgartner car. Currently number 1 in points by 108 going into today's race. And there he is right there. So that's fairly accurate. A little trickier here without that old computer that you get to rely on that Winston Cup racing. Particularly get on a half mile for 250 laps. Here's Benson. Working his way up for another shot at Chad Little. Little's been nipping those points away. Took a big chew out of that point lead of over 230 that Johnny Benson had going into Charlotte when Johnny got tangled up. He is so smooth. Reminds me a lot of you, David. I mean, he just seems to take it as it comes. Got a lot of patience. Hey, we got 38 and 59 back at it another time. This for 5th spot. Elton Sawyer Dennis Setzer, they've had a good time for about 25, 30 laps here.
A lot of cars that didn't pit on that last caution, they're coming in now. The 64 just pitted. The 25 car is still in the pit, so he undoubtedly is having a lot of brake problems.
Yeah, way down goes Johnny Runley. There you see Alton Sawyer, last year's winner, and there you see the interval to number 59. That's 5th place. Got a replay on this that might be kind of fun to look at. There's Dennis, that Alliance training car.
Oh, they bumped a little bit. That's just a little love tap. That's the way Baker used to do.
Love tap?
That's what you call it when they don't spin them out.
Yeah. Like you and Petty and you and Isaac and that crowd?
Yeah. Well, like I said, Baker's mostly, he would do things like that. I can talk about him now. He's not here.
We'll be back with more from this 250 with 116 officially complete. Highway transportation provided by Cedar Ridge RV Center, Branchville, New Jersey, featuring Winnebago Motor Homes. Call 1-800-988-4884 and see why Cedar Ridge is the choice of champions. And by Featherlight. For more information about Featherlight trailers, call 1-800-800-1230. Featherlight, the official trailer of NASCAR. Alton Sawyer's been backing up. We're at lap 123, folks, about halfway home in the running of the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250 NASCAR Grand National Race. Don't forget tomorrow on TNN, action and plenty of it. Schrader's on the pole for 500 miles at Pocono, Pennsylvania. Mike Joy and Buddy Baker bringing you all the action. That's tomorrow. Ken Squire, David Pearson here this afternoon. Those fellows thought they were going to have an ARCA race today up there. Weathered out. Alton Sawyer's in trouble. We've been watching him back up. Now he's bringing you down on the pit road at that pit speed of 25 miles an hour.
Yeah, Ken, I just noticed that Joe Bissett had just passed him right before he come in there, and he is on the move. I don't know. Of course, he can run about 10 laps that way, but after he runs 10 laps, he starts moving back.
Steve?
Ken, I talked to Bob Sutton, one of the owners on the 38 car, and he said Elton has a bad set of tires, and it was just too tight. David Pearson can tell you about a tight race car.
Yeah. You were saying before, and that was the problem with the number 3. They just had it a little too tight.
Well, that's true. And, of course, you could watch them when they're running, the way they're running on the racetrack. If they go down on that apron, they're doing that, trying to get a little bit loose so it'll stay on the bottom and they can come off low. But and if it's too loose, they were not about to get on that apron.
Well, there you see Benson, and he continues to just ease on up through the field. As we mentioned earlier, just a very smooth ride. Johnny Benson gives that number 74, but I think he's out of tire. Boy, that thing is reacting right now.
Yeah, he could have one blistered or either wore out and going down.
Oh, we got a spinner. Tracy Leslie in 72 gets it back underway. Caution is out. Well, we're just past the halfway mark, and there's a yellow as Tracy Leslie spun. Gets it cranked and brings it around. Pretty good place for a mid-race report here. Let's take a look at the end of this incident with Tracy Leslie. Sideways, just slides it along the wall, and that Detroit gasket car was enough to bring out the yellow coming down the backstretch. Got a second angle of that.
Yeah, you can see he just got loose just as he went in the corner there and backed right in the wall.
Jeff Green among those who count themselves lucky.
It's not too bad when you hit it solid that way, just to hold back into the car. But if you went and get one on the corner, that's when it usually messes up the rear end or knocks the rear end out of line or something.
Gives the boys something to do with pivot points when they get back for the next week. Tracy Leslie's number 72 bringing out the third caution of the day, I believe. Is that number 3? That's number 3 down. It's just past the halfway mark, and you're watching Jason Keller and Jeff Green, the front of the field, pitting. Mike McLaughlin up to 3rd, Doug Heveron in 4th, and Steve is in the pits right now. Let's get a report from Mr. Burns.
Ken, we talked about the tire situation earlier. You're looking at Jeff Green's team coming around on the left side. This is a perfect opportunity. They had hoped that the tires would hold up about 60 to 65 laps. So this is a great opportunity. The 57 car of Jason Keller, they changed right side and now on the left.
Budget Gourmet car coming out, but the quickest car back out is to be Jeff Green. Budget Gourmet's right there again, too.
Of course, I can't help looking at this, Ken. I'm just looking at Larry. There's no way he can get out of his pits after he changes his tire. The 55 car is right there in front of him.
Yeah, Larry Pearson. You see them rolling the car back. You see Fidowa's car, that yellow car, and here comes Pearson. My goodness. It looked like shopping in the village square.
The car was right beside him, and he wasn't no way he could get out.
Had to back him up, move him around. A little busy down there on this half-mile track at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Grand old track. Been here back in 1964. Some guy named Pearson won this race. Hey, Stanley, mid-race report is next. The Stanley Tools mid-race report brought to you by Stanley since 1843. Stanley, helping people do things right. 5 leaders thus far. Lead changes only 4, and the average speed is 79 miles an hour. A couple of cautions. The third one came just after halfway. We've had 8 laps of caution. That's a pretty good speed. You know, the record for this race is 73 mark, 73.8 that Chuck Bound laid down back in 1991. There you see Phil Parsons going by. Johnny Rumley there. There's Fidowa's 55. There's Chad Little.
Chad's running awful good to be running on 7 cylinders.
Isn't that quite a story? Do you think they're telling us a story?
Well, no. I remember I won the race at Northwestboro one time on 7 cylinders.
Really?
And I was running about middle of the pack. And later on in the race, when the racetrack got slick, and I lost a cylinder, I could just open it wide open, come off the corner, and I just put, and just go right on.
How fast are you putting, do you think?
Oh, I don't know, but
fast enough.
Just enough that it wouldn't spin a wheel coming off the corner. And I can keep it straight all day.
That counts for a lot if you can beat that wheel spin. Well, here you see Chad back in again. Wholesale stop at halfway. 3 sets of tires. Let's get Steve Burns for a quick update.
Chad Little down into the pits. Again, to update you, he had a plug wire come off at about lap 20. So there, as David Pearson said, the loss of horsepower doesn't seem to hurt him. This will be routine service for the 23 car.
Showing us 12th, the Bear Aspirin Harris Teeter car coming back out. And Jason Keller is first with Jeff Green on the track second.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250 on TNN is brought to you by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
We're back at Myrtle Beach with 135 laps complete, ready to go. Green going to come right down under the flag stand now with Jason Keller first, Jeff Green in second, McLaughlin third, Dennis Setzer's fourth, Bobby Donner in fifth, Rodney Combs in sixth, Larry Pearson in seventh. They jammed him up a little on the start, and Chad Little really got stomped on as they came down the line. Back end to number 23 really was cut. Watch here in just a moment. You can see the front. Take a look at the back. I think he's going to have to come in. Yeah, he's rubbing on all the corners.
He is, Ken. And, of course, you know, on that pit stop there, on that caution, all the leaders came in and got 4 tires. And I think everybody there was trying to get up front as quick as they could before the tires did give up. But it didn't seem like the 3 car and the 57 car ever give up. So they running strong all the time.
Well, there you can see that looks almost as beaten up as it did as Nather. Take a look at the left side of the screen. He's already been bounced off the wall as they came down to the line. He took a couple of shots. And they're rolling that one right back in. Here's your leader, Keller. Green second, McLaughlin third, Setzer fourth, Donner, Combs, Pearson seventh, Phil Parsons up to 8th, Rumley 9th, Curtis Markham 10th, Fidowa 11th, Chad Little was 12th. That'll move LePage into 12th. Johnny Benson to 13th, Tracy Leslie to 14th.
You know, some of the guys said Chad Little won most of his races on Super Speedway, but now he is back down here on the short track, and he said we're all equal now. That was well, I heard a couple of guys say that, but I'm not calling their names in the bench yesterday.
To Steve Burns.
Chad Little's had a great season, 4 wins. Chad, what happened?
It's a restart deal. You know, it's everybody slows down in the middle there, and just got hit from behind. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, I guess. Got hit behind and spun around and couldn't save it with the wall at the left front, and lost the brake rotor and got some damage. So we'll fix it and we'll make it back out. But it's just an unfortunate day because, you know, we lost the spark plug wire. Fell off number 5 cylinder at the start of the race, and we managed to stay on the lead lap, and we had a great car. Worked our way to our track a few times, but like I said, you know,
with that cylinder going, I guess who started behind him there felt like he wasn't getting off as fast as he should have got off, and just run into it.
Got caught.
Got caught.
Here's McLaughlin, number 34, coming after Jeff Green. Mike McLaughlin closes in another time. He is fun to watch. What a great racer has been, and what he can be for Winston Cup in time to come, out of Waterloo, New York. Former national modified champion.
You know, you don't hear too much about him, but when it gets down to the money end of it, he's usually right there. You hear his name.
3 weeks ago, he's back 8th in points. Now he's picked it right back up. Take a look at Dennis Setzer up into 4th. Ooh, Tommy Houston got beat up a little here. Elton Sawyer's car moving in on Dennis Setzer another time. Been a pretty good struggle throughout the go thus far.
It seems like they're running right together. Yeah. He might just be one trying to get that name on television.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm sure Dennis is all caught up in that. Take a look at this. Now he's going to get a little... Yeah, Elton Sawyer dives down the inside. Picks up a spot. Told that it's not a battle for position anymore.
Nope.
Trying to get a lap back. We're at lap 145, folks. Don't forget tomorrow, Pocono, Pennsylvania, on the 2.5 mile, right here on TNN. Don't miss it. And for that matter, don't miss race day tomorrow morning, 11:30. They'll take you to Montreal for the Formula One preview. They'll take you to Columbus, Ohio for the NHRA preview, to Detroit for the IndyCar. And, of course, they'll be live from Pocono. That's all tomorrow morning, 11:30, only on TNN, only on race day. So Jason Keller continues to cook out here in the Budget Gourmet number 57. Second place battle is Jeff Green and Mike McLaughlin, and it's a dandy for this nice crowd out this afternoon at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Temperature in the 90s, great beach weather. But for the half mile on this asphalt, it really is hot. Look at McLaughlin trying one more time to pick it up on Green. A year ago, he came here for the very first time, had an engine cook early in the going. He's one of those three. This is McLaughlin, one of those three breakthrough guys this year. Chad Little won his first, Bidois and McLaughlin, and he's going to win a lot more. Take a look at Hermie Sadler here and Larry Pearson for 5th spot.
You notice how high Larry was going in that corner there. The front cars, one that's really running, you watch them, they go up there really tight, and they can run right on the apron. In fact, they do go on the apron.
Yeah. Take a look at that's Parsons in there, and this is 4th position. The Luxair number 99 is back there in 7th. I can't believe that you ran all those years, won 105 races. There's your son out there. He's got a broken wrist as he runs today. And you never broke a bone in all those years that you ran, Pearson?
Ken, I never have. Let me knock on wood. But I've never even been taken to the hospital. And, of course, that's in my whole career. And never rode an ambulance. So I think that's something to be thankful for.
And you turned a few over and put a few in back.
I have. Quite a few, if you want to know the truth. But the hardest, I guess, I've ever hit was at Bristol. It knocked my shoes off.
We'll be back with more with David Pearson in a moment. Tomorrow, right here on TNN, the UAW GM Teamwork 500 from Pocono, Winston Cup coverage. Pocono Raceway, 1 o'clock Eastern on TNN Motorsports. It doesn't get any closer than what we're watching right here. Jeff Green at number 3 and Mike McLaughlin in the 34. And that's been 20 laps, folks, having them stand and cheer here at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Race number 13 of the Grand National Campaign. Chevrolet's out in front. Jason Keller is leading. This is the battle everybody's watching as they put a lap on number 40, Patty Moise. Really great struggle. 6-6 on the season. 6 Fords and 6 Chevrolets have won in Grand National competition. A lot of big Grand National races upcoming down to Talladega, up to Watkins Glen, New York in the next couple of weeks.
Ken, I believe Mike McLaughlin, if he could ever get by the 3 car, they both running in the same groove, look like.
Well, I was watching David up there in 4. It looked to me like McLaughlin went off for a moment. He got more sideways than he wanted to get there. He's closed it back in again, but let's see what he's going to do here. Well, coming out there the last time, he was up a couple of lanes.
He got his tires hot, so he'll have to wait a lap or 2 and not make sure he don't get them hot again or don't slide anything, get them hot. Then maybe let them cool off a little bit, then he can go back and maybe take it. But if that 3 car don't ever slip, he'll never get by.
That's the old Earnhardt style. We asked Mike McLaughlin in 34 if it's easy to keep cool as far as your temper's concerned out here on a hot day.
Well, you can. You try not to. Try to run your own race. When you get distracted to where you let your temper go, usually doesn't do you any good, you know. So you deal with things the best you can, and you know, you try to be there at the end of the race, and then deal with a few problems after, maybe.
Yeah, and he's done that before too. Team 34, and win at Dover for that team was their first since they won at Bristol and Dover a couple of years back in '93. Out of Waterloo, New York, Mike McLaughlin. That's where old Ron Narduzzi used to come from one of those big modified sedans that used to come out of the Northeast.
Ken, there's a lot of those Yankees up north there coming down here and running into.
Yeah, right. Take a look at the 64 car here back in 24th, 25th. 20. Now they just gave us a new update that it's showing 20th there. I think he just got knocked down about 4 more spots. But that's the point here is when you're running back in a position like that the Duraloo car Dirk Stevens is running in at the present time. That's harder work than anybody else up there in those positions in front.
It is. You know, if you get in front, you don't have to worry about the cars in front of you where you don't see it, you know, unless you're lapping them. But you can just kind of relax and, you know, and be real smooth. If you can do that, you're going to run faster anyway. So that's what right where he's at right now. He's fighting the traffic. He's always, you know, right around him, front of him, behind him, side of him, and everything else. So it is harder if you're running in traffic.
Scott Kilby just made the move on him a moment ago, and here's Danny Edwards coming up in the number 61. Tough, long, hard day for this guy from Tumwater, Washington. Dirk Stevens in the Duraloo, number 64. Whoop. Boy, he almost got too much of a handful that time. All elbows out of turn 4.
I'm really surprised that all the cars are running close together as they are. It's just, they seem like everybody's equal.
Yeah. Let's go back up with the leaders another time. See how we're doing here. There you see Jason Keller just in front, that 57 car right there. Budget Gourmet out in front. And the Good Wrench, number 3, entered the name of Teresa. And Steve Burns can tell us a little bit more, I think, on that 34 car.
Ken, I was just talking to crew chief Clyde McLeod, that is. Mike McLaughlin may have a broken shock. And if he does, that's bad news.
Oh, that is hard news, particularly on a track as abrasive and rough as this half mile at Myrtle Beach. But if you're going to run Grand National, these are the kind of tracks that separate folks, give you champions. Got some great ones out here today. Stay with us. We'll see which one will persevere.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250 on TNN is brought to you by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley has been helping people do things right.
Leaders, Jason Keller, the youngster out of Greenville, South Carolina, in the Joe Keller-owned Budget Gourmet Chevrolet, just in front of Jeff Green at number 3. Jason Keller trying to be the 4th new driver to win in 1995 on the Busch Grand National Tour. And here comes Jeff Green trying to chase him down. Just behind the McLaughlin, perhaps a broken shock on number 34. Larry Pearson into 4th. Doug Heveron is 5th. We're at lap 176. Phil Parsons is back there in 6th. Bobby Donner is up to 7th. Dennis Setzer 8th. Rodney Combs is 9th. See Curtis Markham, that rookie, is up there in 10th spot right now. Tim Petewa, 11. Tommy Houston getting lapped another time, David, and then Red Devil Enamel's car, number 6.
Yeah, just that's so bad, you know, for Tommy. His run is, as long as he's running as good as he does, you know, it's just a shame that he's having bad luck the way he is.
Jim Bound getting put a lap down. His dad, fine racer out of the Northwest. The Lux car going a lap down to these 2 leaders. Getting up toward lap 200. 180 at 20 to the 200 mark, and this has been the story all day. Jason Keller trying so hard with that Chevy to pull this thing off. He's wearing a cool helmet out there today. Keller tried that. Temperature at 95 outside. Track temperature up around 110. On board 130. He thought that might help him. Napa field update. Napa keeps America running. Here's where the Grand National's running at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
You know, I was trying to watch the 34 car, see if he did have a broken shock or something. Usually you could tell when it leans over, something going in the corner. But the way he's diving in that corner, it don't look like there's anything wrong with it to me. He's coming under the underneath the car now, coming off the 51 car. So, and he's running down and even hitting the apron. So it looked like it's running good to me.
Well, he grew up on those modifieds. He's a national modified champion. And those things are such a handful. They're so twitchy. And I'll tell you, McLaughlin is smooth. He's another driver who just is so easy out there. He'll get the job done for you. Let's see what Keller's going to do now. Comes off that corner, and Jeff Green comes right after him. Boy, you couldn't ask for a better show than to see these 2 youngsters slugging it out here at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I think this is great. Wait for tomorrow, Dave.
Yeah,
hey, that Pocono race is going to be something.
It really is. But I think the 3 car is going through the corners right now just a little bit better than the 57 car is. So he gains on him just a little bit in the corner.
For 3rd, McLaughlin in the 34. Larry Pearson in the 92 trying to take it away. Talk about folks that won their first race at Myrtle Beach. You can put down the names Elton Sawyer, Rob Moroso. May see it again today. Look at Larry Pearson hug the bottom. That may tell you about that shock right there. Just can't get that bite where he wants it. Right. And Larry, just broken wrist and all, just eases on by.
Yeah,
Larry.
The 34 car definitely got problems. I don't know where it's a shock, you know, or what it is, but he definitely got problems.
Larry Pearson, who still has a shot at a 3rd national title and knows it's time to make that charge to the front if he wants that national crown again.
It's time for me to start moving up. You know, I think I've been a little conservative this year, but Chad and Johnny are pulling away a little bit. So we don't want them to get too far ahead of us. We still think we can win this championship, you know, but we got to start finishing some races and start winning some.
Well, he's getting ever closer right now, down to 185 laps in the book of this 250 lap distance. See Tracy Leslie up there in the 72, but he's running a lap or 2 down. 57th start for Jason Keller. Getting himself a little closer to a victory here. Ooh.
Yeah, 3 abreast going into 1.
3. Take a look at that for the lead. There's the hole, and Jeff Green is there. Whoa, and they're still at it.
He went through there just like Earnhardt, didn't he? I thought that was Earnhart driving that car there for a minute.
What was it Burns said was in the paper this morning?
He said Earnhardt was going to learn him how to drive, and he was going to learn him how to qualify.
He sure made a driver move that looked like Earnhardt. And Jeff Green is back in front. Qualified on the pole for this race, and he's back into the lead. Larry Pearson staying 3rd. Mike McLaughlin 4th. Doug Heveron is 5th. Hey, it's a dandy here. We're having a whale of a time in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Stay with us for the exciting conclusion of the Red Dog 250. Watching the leader, number 3, Jeff Green, watching the point leader on pit road. There you see Johnny Benson Jr., the Bill Baumgartner Lipton T car going around. 2 right side tires back underway, David.
Yeah, he just changed the 2 tires. I guess he's, well, naturally you would wait if he had a caution and get 4 tires, but the 2 right side tires is the main one. He was getting a little bit loose. He was dropping back a little bit, but he'll come back up front now.
196 laps have been completed. Chad Little back on the track. He's 46 laps down, but shod with new tires, he's flying.
I tell you who's flying. That's that Tommy Houston. He just went by the 74 car there, Johnny Benson, and Benson just come out of the pits with new tires.
On board with Elton Sawyer. He's backed up to about 17th spot and going a lap down now. Ford credit car of Elton Sawyer, defending champion in this race. Three wide inside the 12. Ducking onto pit road, Mike Dillon, the Connecticut driver. Jeff Green making his way. Started the day 7th in points. There you see the top runners at the present time. Jeff Green had a couple of top 5s this year. Just a point behind Fedewa. He's going to move up again today based upon this performance. His best career finish, 2nd in Charlotte in that great race with Chad Little. There's the Duralube Stevens car. Here's Larry Pearson moving all of this under Elton Sawyer. So it looks like we may get a 4th different new winner in Grand National Racing this year. And here comes Elton Sawyer on the pit road. Leaders. Front 3 cars all in a bundle. Green, Jason Keller 57, and Larry Pearson 92. What Larry Pearson said about going for the lead. He's on the outside making the move. Number 92 rolls up on the outside of Jeff Green. Crowd is on its feet and cheering. Pearson.
He's pushing on.
Yeah, pushing on Green down the main straightaway.
Letting him know he is there.
It's been since Darlington that Larry Pearson's tasted victory. His best finish here at the beach, 2nd in '88. Boy, look at, here's Hebron and all of the tribe getting into it here. 3 wide. You wonder if Jeff Green used up his tires or if Larry Pearson used up his. Laps are the issue at this point. .202 laps complete, and Doug Hebron is very much in that race. We're being shown Hebron in that lead. Look at him put the fender into the side of Fedewa as he tries to maneuver through. Out of the way, here I come.
Jeff Green is having troubles again. I believe he's dropping back. 3 car.
Green falling back. Doug Hebron making a tremendous run in that 35. Fate cheated him from that victory. Now the 17 moves inside of him, rubs off a little pink. Robbie Reiser with no respect for the leader. Whoever gets that lead, that seems to be the cue to back up.
You know, you're watching him come off before there. You can't help but laugh a little bit, but I think that what the car is doing, they're pushing a little bit. They don't mean going up there and hitting him or nothing yet, but they just can't help it.
Talk about rooting a guy out of the way here. Yes, indeed.
Well, see, now he was on the apron when he done that, and of course the car got awful loose, and he had to turn right to keep his car straight.
Added a wrinkle and a crinkle to car number 55. Now very slowly on the pit road moves Jeff Green. Right side rubber on Green. Here's Steve Burns.
Crew's going to work on the right side of the number 3 Goodrich Chevrolet. He just took right side tires, 2 tires only. Larry Pearson's on his way as well.
205 laps complete. 2:05.
Jeff Green was in for 13 and .35 seconds. He just took on the right side tires.
45 laps to go. Hebron, there's Bessie going around that number 35 of Doug Hebron. What a run he's made. Here you see Keller in, and here's Larry Pearson on pit road in number 92. All new race, wide open to the finish of this one, folks. Here's Steve.
Jackman Danny Bubba on the outside of the 92 car. Crew chief Brian Pemberton on the wall. I think they're just going to take 2 tires. Yes, that is the case. 92 down and away.
Larry was in for 11.62 seconds. So that was a good stop for him.
Johnny Benson's made his stop. Benson hasn't been up here. I don't think there's too many battle scars on Benson's number 74 car.
Can't nobody catch him.
No, he's just been out there, not hiding, just running his own little race. Oh, Hebron showing a little smoke now out of number 35. Millicron car. And there you see Johnny Benson in the 74.
And Mike Dillon in that number 12 car there, he runs like gangbusters there for about 10 or 12 laps, and then his tires gives up or something, and he starts moving back.
We can get you an update on Doug Hebron right now from Steve Burns.
Ken, Doug Hebron's car is smoking heavily. We've been told that NASCAR is watching him. He's spewing grease from the rear end.
Well, that's the story on Hebron. His sets are going up on the outside in the 59, and there is Benson, the leader by 108 points going into today's 13th race of the season. And you see the 12, Dillon, right there with him. Back straightaway, the half mile, abrasive old Myrtle Beach taking its toll on cars today. Dillon's been there all the way, and right now we're seeing the 74 shown 16th, 3 laps down. Still in a far better point position than that number 23 of Chad Little, 46 laps down, if you're just joining us. Another update on these top runners. Here's Steve.
Ken, we've been told that Doug Hebron is being blank flagged and forced to come in the pits. His crew is ready and standing by. Again, he's been blank flagged. Larry Pearson took the lead.
Consultation flag in, and Larry Pearson finds himself in first place. Or is it Markham? Let's go to Steve quickly.
Can they go to the right side of Doug Hebron's Millicron car? NASCAR officials walk to the back. A lot of smoke pouring out of the rear end. Don't know if you can see it, but a lot of white smoke.
We could see it earlier, David. It really blossomed there the last 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, it could be a valve cover or something like that leaking.
Right,
it don't take very much oil to get on the exhaust and the smoke with it.
Larry Pearson trying to come up. We're getting a couple of different reports on scoring. One is that Curtis Markham, the rookie, had inherited the lead, had not come in, that Larry Pearson was second. The other is that it is all Larry Pearson up there in that first position. Trying to get NASCAR scoring to help us with that in a moment. Get that sorted out, and we'll sort that out and come back in just a moment. Laps complete. 217 of 250 here today in the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250 on TNN is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
Unofficially, here's your leader, Larry Pearson, at lap 223. 63, Curtis Markham in the Lysol car had not pitted and was out in front, and we're still waiting on NASCAR scoring after all of these stops under green to give us a rundown on the top 10. Here for sure now, well, here unofficially for sure, Larry Pearson has the advantage as he's about to put a lap on Rodney Combs. Peerless Faucets, innovation in motion. Peerless Faucets gets more out of your faucet than just water. And here's Steve.
Ken Squire, these are the right side tires that just came off the car of Larry Pearson's. This tool is called a pyrometer. Now, crew chief Brian Pemberton will take this, take 3 readings. He'll take this, outside, middle, inside. He'll get 3 readings on this pyrometer. Now, he'll find out, based on the temperatures, how the car is handling. When Larry Pearson goes out of the pits, the first thing he says is, Ryan, what do the tires look like? So there's your answer with the pyrometer.
Want it pretty smooth across there, don't you?
Well, yeah, you know, just as equal as you can. And of course, you know, you could, camber could be off a little bit, and that could make it run hotter on the outside or inside. So they set the car up to where it's about 5 degrees, but most of the time about 5 degrees hotter on the inside than you do on the outside. And that's when you get in the corner, it more or less evens out a little bit. We have the 89 car coming into the pits right now. He's having trouble. He just blew the engine. I seen him smoking.
Phil Parsons?
Phil Parsons.
Yeah, Parsons in. Bad break for this guy who's done so well in the pits and had such a good season with that Luxair car. Phil Parsons out of Denver, North Carolina. David Iff and the boys over the top. and Steve can give us an update.
Ken, the water pump has just shut off on the 99 Luxair car of Phil Parsons. Water pump's dead.
Trying to roll Parsons away. 5-second interval between first and second. Pearson is first, Green is second, and we're getting Bobby Dotter as third with Jason Keller fourth. That's all unofficial, folks. I think you can pretty much rest assured that it is Pearson in first, Green in second. Look at Tracy Leslie dig with that 72 that grazed the wall earlier in this show. And they're now showing Pearson, Green, Keller running 1, 2, 3, and Larry Pearson's getting a bit of a breather out here. Getting himself just a little bit of running room, which is more than anyone has had on this half-mile track today. The ARCA race up at Pocono weathered out this afternoon. Going to run it July 13th to be played later. Check your local papers for listings as to when that's going to happen. There you see the number 3. That's Jeff Green trying to close in on this man, number 92. And we'll show you the interval right now between that Stanley Tool Chevrolet and Jeff Green in the Goodwrench car. There's the leader. And it's a ways back to this man, Jeff Green, in second spot. And right with him is Jason Keller. Jeff Green's got more than he needs to Jason Keller right now. So Larry Pearson, bunged up, left arm in a cast today, broken wrist. Not seeming to bother him much. You see Johnny Benson just in front of him.
It don't bother you, Ken, when you're leading a race. Anything can happen to you.
What wrist?
You don't get as tired, or you don't get as hot.
Look at Fuller in the 47. Fuller, you're going to hear, I think you're going to hear a lot more from him. He won one of the toughest races in New England, the Thompson 300. Ooh, Larry Pearson trying to get around Benson.
You're getting too anxious.
Had to step off there big time. Dennis Setzer now fourth. Latest update from NASCAR, it has Dotter fifth, Mike McLaughlin sixth, Curtis Markham seventh, and Rodney Combs is in eighth. That's our latest update for you. Johnny Benson staying down on the inside, giving Larry Pearson a little room here and lets him run. .234 laps are complete. Benson all the way down on the pad, bottom of the racetrack. So we're getting ready to finish this one up. Here's that battle for second. Jason Keller and Green at it again.
You know, Ken, of course, that's what Larry wants to see. Anytime they can get two cars running side by side, they're not going to run as fast as they would if it's in single file, you know. And as long as Jason Keller and them run side by side, that's helping Larry that much more. That's letting him go on up. Should be pulling away from him when they do that.
See Porter in the 18 trying to get back into this thing a little. Got some stronger tires. He's making a great run right now. Jason Keller getting himself a second spot and dropping back to third is Jeff Green. Good show. So tomorrow it's Pocono, Pennsylvania here on TNN. With 13 laps to go here today. Race day tomorrow morning, 11:30. We'll tell you all about it. He'll have previews from the unlimited hydroplanes, the Gold Cup race in Detroit, Formula One race in Montreal, NHRA in Columbus, Ohio, IndyCar preview from Detroit, and lots of stories live and direct from Pocono. That's tomorrow morning on race day, only on TNN. So Larry Pearson down toward those final 10 laps. David, you've done really well trying to be unbiased here today, so you've got to be smiling just
well, you can't help it. You know, you got to. But, of course, if I was down there on the radio with him right now, I'd be slowing him up a little bit.
What would you tell him?
I'd tell him to slow up. You know, there's just no sense in running as hard as he's running, knowing how the tires is and everything. But he's got over a half a lap lead there, and all he's got to do is just play it cool.
Well, he is. He's letting Ed Barrier go by in that Leasco car, number 56. Let him saunter on up through there.
Well, he needs to kind of back off a little bit, take it easy.
The 86 and 87 Grand National Champion looks like he's back in form, broken wrist and all. going for his 15th Grand National win. Larry Pearson is rolling. We're into the final 10 laps, folks, in the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250. He came into this race 8th in points. He's going to make a big move in the point battle this year.
I was talking to him yesterday about the points, and he says, well, you know, I can still win it if I can win just one race. And the finish couple said, I'll be right up there close with him.
Very happy about this team. He has said, I can't remember ever being this excited. Of course, those Pearsons never look excited. Everybody knows that. They could be jumping up and down, but it's only inside. But he said, my confidence is back, and it sure looks like it today. As we get into these final laps and the countdown for Larry Pearson's 15th Grand National victory. The Stanley Tool car looking excellent. Mac Martin, the owner of that team, Larry had said he gave me a chance when many people thought I was done. Boy, is he paying that off today.
Well, you know, Ken, I have to hand it to him for that. You know, he has been offered 2 or 3 rides in the Western Cup, and he wouldn't do it. He said, all these guys have been so good to me, and he just loves every one of them, especially since the crew chief has come over, you know, from Western Cup. And he's got a good team going now.
There you see second place, young Jason Keller. What an outstanding job he has done all day in that budget gourmet car. Green is still third. Dennis Setzer, a kid I love to watch race. He's fourth. Stoddard. Now Setzer has just moved around Jeff Green into those final laps, counting them down here this afternoon in Grand National Racing, Myrtle Beach. One of the grand old tracks of NASCAR where you could see the likes of Pearson and Petty and Buck Baker win down here in the 60s. Down to the inside, Jeff Green, as the laps run out, getting ready for a white flag. I think there's about 2 to go now for Larry Pearson. 3 to go, they're telling us. 3 remaining. 1988. Larry Pearson came here and finished second. That's his best performance to date. They may want to break his other wrist.
He might do it.
Boy, has he driven a smooth race. A couple to go for Larry Pearson.
He has really slowed down now. I think his tires is getting kind of worn quite a bit. I see him wiggle every once in a while now.
But he still has a big advantage over Jason Keller. The 200th start for Larry Pearson. One of the greatest names in NASCAR stock car racing. Pearson's headed back for victory lane today, and on the track where the Pearsons became famous decades ago. 41-year-old Larry Pearson going for his 15th career win. He has said, I have the fire inside to show everyone I can still win races. And the checkers are out, and he's done it. Larry Pearson pulls it off. Spartanburg, South Carolina is going to be celebrating right now as the 2-time Grand National champions done it again at Myrtle Beach.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250 on TNN is brought to you by Under Siege 2, now playing at a theater near you.
Larry Pearson's been under siege for several years. One year he didn't even run. But he came back today, and he proved to everybody that Larry Pearson's someone to contend with for the national championship. Let's join Steve Burns, who's with him in victory lane.
Larry has just climbed out of the car. Hey, your second win of 1995. Ryan Pemberton just said, I wonder if there's any more races in South Carolina.
Well, I tell you, I wish we'd run about 5 or 6 a year at this place and at Darlington, to be honest with you. Oh, the car ran great. We just, we changed 2 tires there at the end. I don't know, Ryan made that call, I guess, again. Another great call. Put a little bit of wedge in it. We took a rubber out of the right front. The car was a little tight, so we took a rubber out. It made it just right, just a little on the loose side. So we put a little wedge in it, made it just right. I mean, the car was just, it was beautiful.
Well, congratulations.
Great.
Great run.
Thank you. Hello, Stanley.
And not only is he excited, but how about Jason Keller? Best 95 finish of the season today, second. And Dennis Setzer for Alliance, best finish of the season, third.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Carolina Pride Red Dog 250 on TNN has been brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star.
Take a look at the top 10 here today. Larry Pearson wins that 15th. Keller coming home second, Setzer third. Jeff Green had to settle for fourth. Bobby Dotter up to fifth. McLaughlin for sixth. The rookie Markham in seventh. Rodney Combs to Richard Petty's car in eighth. And then came Benson finishing in ninth today. And Elton Sawyer, last year's winner, back there in 10th spot. Here's Steve.
Ken, thanks. I'm with car owner Mac Martin and crew chief Ryan Pemberton. Hey, Mac was so excited he left his earplugs in until just now. Mac, you got your first win at Darlington. How's this one feel?
I tell you what, South Carolina's pretty good to us, aren't they? It's just wonderful. First of all, I got to thank the good Lord for giving us this second win, and it's just been wonderful. You know, we went to Darlington, and that was our first one, and I said, man, can we ever get another one? And I was beginning to wonder, but now we got two. And I tell you, all these guys are just wonderful. I mean, everybody is just good to us. Chevrolet, Stanley's been with us, and I hope that we're proving to them that we're a good race team. It's been, we had our ups and downs, but you know, those Goodyear tires, they've been just wonderful. Everybody just been wonderful, Martin Motorsports and his whole team since I've been racing.
Ryan, you made the decision on the last pit stop to take two tires. What prompted that decision?
Well, you got to watch what the leaders do. You know, leaders, we're leading the race and we want to stay out, make sure we didn't pit before the rest of the crowd did, so we didn't mess up. I made them dictate what we were going to do. So I just I saw that they're taking on two, and I did follow suit.
Thanks very much.
David, final thought from you, sir.
Well, they done everything right, that's for sure. And of course, I was worried about the 3 car. He ran awful good. Then the 57 car ran awful good. But they done a good job and made the right decision there at last.
I want to win races to show every man on this team their hard work has been worth it, said Larry Pearson. Boy, he made it that way today. Join us tomorrow for the UAW GM Teamwork 500 Winston Cup coverage at 1 o'clock Eastern on TNN Motorsports. Doesn't get any closer. For David Pearson and for Steve Burns, I'm Ken Squire.